My name is Paul Hession. I'm the Public Works Director for the City of Cold Spring, and I would like to give a practical demonstration on how to check your water temperature and volume. First, it's good to have a measuring container out of the kitchen. This is a 2-quart container I borrowed from my dear wife, and then a thermometer to keep in it. This is a mercury thermometer from Weiner's Hardware in Cold Spring. Cold Spring Country Store also has them. I checked with the lumber company, they don't, and also Thrifty White does not either. They have body thermometers, and body thermometers do not go down to 40 degrees, because if your body were 40, you wouldn't need any water. So, at any rate, first, you really need to find out the temperature of the water in your pipe underground. I'd like to show a diagram from the city so people understand a few things about freezing pipes and about the cost when digging. And as soon as a pipe comes off of that main from a business or a private home, then it is indeed a private pipe. If it wasn't for that house or business, the pipe wouldn't exist. And our policy states that it's the property owner's responsibility to keep it from freezing. We can't go in everybody's home and business and check their water temp and run it if it needs to be, if it's below 40. So every property owner has that responsibility. But you should also know that anytime you do have to dig private water and sewer pipes in the right-of-way, under the street, under the sidewalk, that the property owner is responsible to pay the contractor 100% of that cost, and then the city would reimburse the property owner for 50%, only because it's very expensive to dig in the right-of-way under the concrete and the asphalt. And I don't know how long to tell you to run your water, because if you can run water in the basement where it first comes into the house from a hard water tap before the softener, you'll get that water pretty fast. If the water has to go through a softener, you need to run quite a bit of water before you see the temperature from the cold in the pipe underground. So I'd recommend getting set up with the container and the thermometer, and prepare a load of laundry or dishes. Plan to run bath water or something. Plan on using a bunch of water someplace. And it doesn't matter if it's hot water or cold water, because it all comes from that one pipe underground. So that's what you need to find the temperature on. And just picture that pipe underground being in frozen ground. Well, if you stop the water flow, it doesn't take long for it to freeze. You might think, use a lot of water every day, big family, laundry, dishes, whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters is to keep the water flowing if the soil around the pipe is frozen. So that's the temperature that we're looking for, to find out if your pipe is in frozen ground or not. After I prepare laundry, dishes, whatever water I'm going to be using, then I just fill this container to let the thermometer adjust to the temperature of that water. Right now it's about 67 or 68 degrees in the room, and the water's not that warm. So just fill the container, and then you could go start the laundry, dishes, bath, whatever you're going to do, and then come back and start running water. So right now I'm simply going to fill the container to let the thermometer adjust to that. The thermometer temp is dropping already from 67 already down to 52. So meanwhile, now is when I should be starting to use some water. And you get that water use going, and then simply run this maybe half throttle or so that you get still a fair amount of water coming in here, and just watch for the coldest temperature. Just run it about half throttle. And just keep that water running until you see your thermometer temperature drop and stabilize. You're looking for the coldest water. That's what's in your pipe underground. It's occasional that people have frozen up their pipes inside. If it's like this, a sink on an outside wall, and it happens to be really cold, then you might want to open cabinet doors, allow some heat in. But almost all of them are freezing in the pipe underground. Okay, another clue that maybe your water is freezing if it's discolored. I had several people call about discolored water, and we ran out to their homes and checked quickly, and it was almost frozen. Because if the water, as it's freezing in your pipe, expands and kind of scrubs the minerals off of the pipe wall. And so if it's discolored, likely it is freezing. Also, faucets do not always keep the same volume. So if you have to run your water on a continual basis, if it's less than 40 degrees, you want to keep running it, then check that daily. You could leave it always running into a container with a thermometer in it, and at any moment you could walk up to it, see the temperature on it, and then pull your thermometer, dump the water, and stick it under the faucet for just 1 minute. You pull it out and you would see the volume that you're running. You need 1 to 1.5 quarts per minute to keep the water and sewer from freezing. And keep in mind that when it warms up in the spring, a lot of people let their guard down, thinking it's warm, I don't have to run the water anymore, but frost goes deeper during the spring thaw. And the way I had it, I read about it online, was when it freezes, when it starts to thaw in the spring from the top down, you still have a frozen layer that's sandwiched between 2 unfrozen layers. Point is, as it's thawing from the top down, that frozen layer is still taking more of the heat out of the ground below it. So that frost definitely goes deeper in the spring. So we're going to be sending out a spring newsletter telling everybody when we believe it's safe to turn it off. And if you ever question that in advance, when you have been running your water, you could turn it off for an hour and then do the demonstration, as I explained here, to check the water temp on your pipe underground. We have also on the city website is a list of companies that could come out to thaw those frozen water pipes. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to call City Hall at 685-3653 or my office at 685-3524 or my cellular telephone at 249-0409.